Just a second, something. Okay. Sorry for this. Okay. Can you just tell me whether you can see a full screen?
Yes, hocam. We can see
Okay,
it now.
great. Great. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session on publication processes for early career researchers. But apparently, we have some other researchers who are very well known in publication journeys. And we are all part of academia, where the publication of scholarly work is not just a matter of personal achievement, um, but often a prerequisite for professional survival in academia and advancement in academia. And today, the world is very competitive in the world of academia as well. And you may feel that we have lots of pressure to publish. And it's not just a suggestion by the admins, but it's a critical imperative form of practice. And without a consistent record of publications, the researchers at different parts of the world looking for career progression, promotions, and even obtaining advanced degrees can become significantly jeopardized. Before moving on to today's topic, I shall require a few minutes only so that I could briefly mention a research group that I coordinate. This is called SWODA, and it is a spoken and written academic discourse analysis. And I don't know whether you are interested in analyzing academic discourse from a spoken or written perspective, but SWODA might be a home to you as well. And we're just analyzing different genres, which are academic always. And we have some objectives, like we're trying to have data analysis sessions. We try to develop curriculum, and we're going to be organizing training sessions. Actually, we just finished one with veterinary medicine students. It was yesterday by one of my PhD students. And we're also looking for collaboration with other universities. And we have some joint studies and projects coming in the near future. And we have some international collaboration with other countries. And we will be training some academicians and students for academic purposes in the near future. So let me briefly talk about the interest area of SWODA. We're actually interested in language education and academic English, and we're also trying to find out language learning processes or processes. We generally examined academic texts of individuals whose native language is Turkish like us, and who speak English as a second language or publish in English. We try to investigate the acquisition of linguistic elements in language learning processes by first and second language speakers in for example, argumentative texts. And one of the most exciting projects that I'm involved right now is the discipline-specific academic text analysis, and we try to propose suggestions for academic English education in those areas. So we started with the veterinary medicine, and we're moving on to engineering, some sub-disciplines of engineering, of course. And we compile natural language data from written and oral texts from different genres, and we analyze them by using different corpus tools, and we try to publish them in different venues. But one of them is very, let's say, special for me, and I'm going to talk about this later on. So at the end of the day, we're researching language practices via corpus linguistics methodology. And here is the SWODA team, but this is just the iceberg, right? And Betül Hocam from Samsun 19 Mayıs University, Nuri Itoğlu Hocam from Boğaziçi University, and I have two of my PhD students, Elif Barbaros and Mustafa Özler, and we have lots of MA and PhD students joining us every day. Okay, the first thing that I will do here before moving on to publication processes, I just want to check your understanding of academic publications. So let's Menti first. My friends will help me sharing those links with you from the chat box. Could you please go to chat box and copy the mental link here, and let me also go to the slides here. Where is that one? Yeah, it's here. So you're gonna have two different questions. The first one is about your publication self. Can you please go and answer two options here, and whichever applies to you, of course. I think you all shared this one, right? Okay, you just tell me whether you publish at least an academic article or chapter in a year, or whether you have never tried publishing an article, or whether you have never published an article. And I'm also looking for those ones who tried a lot, failed in some, and published few. So yeah, and great, we have a great number of people who never published. Most probably they're in the beginning of their career. But let me share that I'm not going to rediscover America today, but I'm going to be sharing lots of personal experience that I accumulated in the past 11 years of my academic journey. And I will be sharing some of my personal, gains throughout this let's say journey. So I'm going to move on to the next question so that you can see, but that one is very tricky. So you're supposed to write at least, you're supposed to write 3 adjectives, right? Let me share that one with you. Okay, so publishing academic articles is a or an what sort of process? By the way, you can also see the answers live here. So some people say complex, demanding, painful. I have no idea what FR means, but tiring, challenging, exciting. So some people can exhilarating, meticulous, heartbreaking, and transformative, stressful. We have lots of negative adjectives, or the ones with negative connotations, most probably. Enjoyable, tiresome, rewarding, impossible. So don't believe that it's impossible. Everything is possible. Okay. Exciting, hard. Challenging is the one that is chosen by most of you. And okay. Continuous, that's good. Odd, chaotic. Great. Okay, thank you very much. So I just wanted to check the number of people who believe that publishing academic articles is a really challenging process, or demanding, torturing, some people say, stressful. I agree, but we can accept that everything is stressful these days. So let me go back to my slides right now again. Okay. Can you please tell me whether you can see my screen right now, because I'm moving between screens?
We do, Hocam.
Okay, good. So the first thing that I will cover today is to answer that question that you see on my screen. What is or what is not a published article? Reporting a scientific study in accordance with the principles of scientific writing. Is that enough? I mean, to explain all those adjectives that you told me? Most probably you would believe that this is an inadequate definition to define published article. An article is not merely the product of a specific process called writing, actually. So I'm going to be talking about the navigation of the publication journey today. So although you see nothing in this figure right now, but I'm going to fill this up with some of the notions that I refer to today. So as you can see, the subject as the decision about your manuscript. By the way, they call it manuscript if you just send it a draft to, actually not a draft, but a primitive version of a published article. And the date is 13th of December today. Okay, so what is or what is not a published article? If we define that in detail, a scientific article is By the way, I just highlighted some critical words here. It should be an accessible publication in a journal or another documented source with the scientific community written to announce the original research and its results to the discourse community that you're part of. And it has to be equipped with a form that allows the community to analyze the results. By the way, during my talk, I will be also giving you some links about the tools that I generally use, and make sure you also copy them. And most probably my friends will be also helping me share a file with you that I prepared before this session. So you will be able to find the list of tools that I use. And this genre is peculiar, not just because of its communicative function, but also its genre features. So we're talking about academic language here. It's not just everyday language, to be honest. So before moving on, I'll just touch upon the connection between genre and language. I don't know whether you are familiar with the term of genre. In Turkish, we call it tür, of course, but we have different genres in music, for example, pop or rock. They are all different genres, and academic language would also require a different type of genre. So which comes first? That would be the question I would ask here. Is it because of the genre that a distinctive language is used, or does the use of language give rise to a different genre? So I wouldn't expect you to answer those questions, but I would say it's just a chicken egg question. I mean, I don't know whether genre causes that kind of language that we use, or whether this kind of language causes a particular genre to emerge. So it's just a chicken egg question. And the genre and language have a dynamic relationship influencing each other mutually here. And while we're talking about academic language, we're also talking about grammar, organization, level of formality, word choices. They all play a role in terms of producing academic language. Let's have a quick look at what academic texts would have in terms of vocabulary. So what makes a text academic is not just your research, but also the way how you employ the language. How many academic words do you know now, and how many should you know to write an academic text? Can you please answer that question? I know it's very hard to count all those words right now, but roughly, do you know, are you aware of the type of academic words that you know, and how many should you know to write an academic text? I'm also looking forward to seeing your answers here. Okay. 5K, Celine, thank you. So is this what you know, or what you should know to write an academic text?
Just a guess.
Okay, this is just a guess. Okay, great. So I just want to check whether you are familiar with the most common 1,000 words in English, which we call K1 words, or the next most common 1,000 words in English, which we call K2 words in English, and the academic word list called academic word list, of course, by Coxhead, going back to early 2000. So I just want to have an interactive part here. Please join me. I'm going to show you 4 words here, and you're gonna tell me which ones are, you know, K1, K2, or academic. Anybody who can tell me applicable, do you think that that's an academic word? If that is an academic one, yeah, write AWL, or if you believe that this is K1, you write K1 or K2. I'm looking forward to your answers here. Applicable. Yep. You can write A if you like. So you believe that this is academic. You're so good. I like your answers, but it's incorrect. So applicable is just one of those K1 words. That means it is included in the first 1,000 most commonly used words in English in general. But if you believe that you use this in your academic paper, that means you also benefit from the most common 1,000 words. Let's move on to the second one, improve. Is this K1, K2, or academic? K2, So you don't believe that this is academic at all? AWL, K1, K1. I'm not testing your vocabulary repertoire here. I just want to see how much you are aware of your target language. Okay, so that is actually a K2 word. It is AVL to me as well, İlknur Hocam, because I generally use improve in my academic text. So if you would like to create an academic text, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using the most common words in K1 or K2, but you also need to have more academic words. Let me share the analysis in the following slide, of course. So mistake is another K2. It's not academic. Yeah, it is actually, it can appear in academic texts, but according to the research we have here, is just one of those K2 words, which is very frequently used in other text types as well. So what about individual? As you may guess, that's the only one that I included here as academic. So individual is academic here. So you wouldn't see individual, the word individual in different types of texts, but most probably in academic texts. So I know that limiting those words to particular users might be a bit dangerous, but this is how it is actually. Okay, let's have a very quick taste of analysis. So my friends will be sharing LexTutor website with you in a moment. Thank you very much, Berkcan Hocam. You're so fast and great. So here I have a text 1 and text 2. So could you please tell me which one sounds less academic? Is it text 1, less academic? Less academic, not academic, less academic. That's right. Number 1 is less academic. Let me read a few lines here. Once upon a time in Caesarea, there was a joyful English language teaching class, which was full of big-hearted students. Okay. And the second one is actually a bit more academic because it says, it obviously requires concerted effort for people to acquire knowledge. Likewise, with regard to language teaching, the procedure gets even more complex and challenging, blah, blah. The only thing that you can see here is the amount of yellow words, right, compared to text 1. And the blue words are actually K1 words. The green ones are K2. The yellow ones are all academic, according to those academic word lists, of course. And the red ones are off-list words. So they're not in K1, K2 or academic. For example, the word Erdemos here, which is not English at all, but the word proficient, which is just beyond academic or K1, K2. So the more yellow words you have, it means the more academic your text becomes. By the way, if you bring the text 1 to the classroom for your students with, let's say, 4th grade students, most probably I would suggest you go and change those yellow words if you like for an easy process of the text, but you can also actually expose your students to those academic words if you like. Or if you find that your academic text is full of with blue words, why don't you go and swap them with academic ones by using some let's say tools like thesaurus or let's say synonymous synonymy dictionaries. Okay, and here I'm going to be talking about a genre perspective towards academic articles. So we sorted that the text should be academic. The academic vocabulary repertoire should be present. In a scientific article, if the results of a study are presented, we call this a research article or original article. So let me share one of the articles that one of my colleagues, Kenan Dikilitaş, published in 2020 in a very prestigious journal called Computers and Education. So this is a research article in which they actually analyze data coming from hybrid learning course. And if we actually write an article in the field to evaluate and discuss the results of previous published research. We call this a review article. And another article that I would show you here, coming from Turkish context, Akçayır and Akçayır, they published one of the most cited systemic review of literature published by Educational Research Review. So that article is different from the previous one. So this one is actually looking at what previous articles talked about advantages and disadvantages of augmented reality for education. So this type of article would be very beneficial if you're writing your thesis or if you're writing your literature review, because they are just bringing all those research articles together to discuss something. And we have short notes sent by scientists in response to published articles called letters or corresponding articles published in particular journals. Not every journal could publish those types of texts, of course. And everybody, you may ask, why do we need publications in academia? Writing and publishing articles is essential for academicians for various reasons. Firstly, it serves a crucial indicator of scholarly productivity, reflecting the depth and breadth of their contributions to their respective fields. So let me share one of the most cited researchers in our university, Emrah Tıraş Hocam. Actually, he is a great example from Erciyes University and has been a part of Fermilab, ANI, and NOVA experiments, and actively involved in collaborating with a great number of other researchers in the broader field of physics to collect data. And could you please see the number of citations that he received in a shorter time? I mean, he finished in 2017 his PhD. So that's a great number for me. So he's scholarly, very productive. And additionally, the publication of articles is a pathway to academic recognition, allowing scholars to establish themselves as authorities in their areas of expertise. And beyond personal desires, there is an inherent desire among academicians to produce and share knowledge. Let me share one of the most prominent researchers in the field of chemistry, again coming from Erciyes University. He actually influenced the academic community a lot. Can you see the number of people that he collaborated with in his studies? So that's an immense number of people. So he is like guiding all those people to a direction. So that's the academic community he's actually contributing to. And moreover, publishing articles provides an opportunity to influence the academic, let's say, discourse and shape discussions and advancement within the field. And as you may imagine, academic career planning can also be supported with the help of publications. And if you would like to influence your, let's say, administrators, you need to have a good record of publications to get, let's say, to have your job at the university or in a lab. And this is great for your career progression. And these days, I just want to check whether we have those people with us today. And Shamsi and Osam from Cyprus, they just published an article about publish or no degree cases. Are you also involved in publish or no degree cases? So let me specifically talk about this for a moment. And they are actually PhD students or MA students. In order to graduate, they actually need to publish a research article that is coming from their own data set. So that should happen before they have their thesis, defense, or viva. And this is very, let's say, threatening for many PhD students because academic publication takes time. And this is what they call publish or no degree case. And here I will talk about some other publish or cases. Publish or, the first one is very popular, publish or perish. This mentality has its critics who argue that it may prioritize quantity over quality, but unconventional research, the reality remains that academic success and recognition are often tied to one's ability to contribute to the scholarly conversation through publications. And in a system that values intellectual output, publishing stands as a fundamental criterion for career progression. And we have publish or no promotion cases, especially in Turkish context, unfortunately. In many academic institutions, the tenure and promotion process places a heavy emphasis on the quality and quantity of publications. And without a record of publication, academics may find themselves struggling to meet the stringent criteria set by their institutions for career advancement. For example, if you would like to be an associate professor in Turkey, you have to publish in reputable journals to get that title. And the last one, which I mentioned already, publish or no degree. And this is actually because of the neoliberal policies, which are closely linked to the ongoing processes of globalization and increased mobility, of course, which led to what Leahy refers to as marketization of higher education. And this phenomenon seems to have driven universities to reassess and modify their approaches to research evaluation, as noted by some scholars. And if you are involved in a graduate program which encourages you or require you to engage in scholarly activities and publish your work before you graduate or before your defense, that might be very threatening for many people, actually. Okay, and with all these things in mind, let's examine the process of academic publication. And I just want to, yeah, okay. So if you remember the figure that which I showed you at the beginning, that is the figure which I would like to share. The first point here is a combination of researching, drafting, writing, and proofreading. Let me let me take this as an opportunity to talk about proofreading. This is actually very critical for many people because we are non-native speakers. Actually, this is our second language or additional language or foreign language, and we are not really great users of that language compared to native speakers. And some people may call this a fallacy, but that's the reality. Many papers are rejected just because of the language choices. So proofreading your text, sending it to a professional proofreader before sending it to a journal might be a good decision because the reviewers may not like the language that you use, and they may have some sort of bias towards your language. Anyway, the second one is journal selection, which I will go into detail in the following slides. Appropriate journals to select, indexing, abstracting, the impact factor, that is a measure actually for many people. And when you find the journal, you need to submit your text for editorial processes. And that's very critical because if you can pass one of the editors, most probably your text will be sent to peer reviews. And some other researchers who can judge the quality of your article may come without also knowing your name or your, let's say, institution. They come and judge your quality of research, and then they come to a decision like they can give you minor revision, major revision, resubmit decision, or they can just say, hey, editor, decline that journal article because it's not publishable in this reputable journal. So you go back to a journal section here, journal selection. And if you pass the reviewing process, you will continue with copy editing, formatting, and creating proofs for your article. That's the last stage before your article goes into academia. But the thing is that when your article goes into the world of academia, is it gonna be staying here for long? Do you think that your article will be read by many people? So which I call rising, or is it gonna be like staying here for forever, but nobody reads it? That's like perishing. Okay, we have a link between those two, let's say, stages. Editors can also reject your article, which means that your article is not publishable at all for, actually, I will share an example of this later on. And you also may go back to submission and editorial process right after the decision of your peer reviewers. By the way, I'm going to share that figure with you as well if you would like to go back and look at all those stages. But today I will be talking about stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 to some extent, maybe some other parts later on. By the way, maybe you have seen the post shared by Sezgin Bakırdere, which happened like 2 days ago. Sometimes it takes ages to get published. Look at this one. Aslaksen and Stets sent an article in 1995 to a journal, Linear, and its application year. So they sent it like 1995 and it was published in 2009. So like 14 years right after it was sent. That's a lot. So can you imagine yourself waiting 14 years so that your article can appear in the world of academia? But what could be very devastating is that sometimes it takes some more time to get recognized and welcomed by the community, but it is worth. So that's the exact same article which took like 14 years to be published, and it only received 17 mentions in other research articles. Then that's not very good. So that means it couldn't really find its place in the world of academia. So that's the question. Is it gonna be great when you publish an article? Is this how you feel great? Or when somebody reads it and cites back or reuse it somewhere else? So that's better. So this is what I call rising after publication. So let's quickly look at the conventional components of an article. Most importantly, your research and your research design, which matter actually. So if you have a very poor research design, unfortunately, the editors will notice that, or the reviewers will notice the drawbacks in your research design. But here, Kevin Berg said once, every article eventually gets published. But me, I just say a poor or careless research effort is destined to disappear before it even sees the light of day, perhaps even before it's written. So make sure you have your research design, which would secure its place when it goes to the editorial processes. And the effective transmission of research focal points into writing is crucial here. So we have abstracts, introductions, lectures, part of the articles. We may sometimes have materials and methods, or methods only. We may combine results, findings, and discussion, or we may have a separate results and findings and discussion together and conclusion. So that's the traditional way of writing a research article in the field of social sciences, of course. But in some other fields, it is quite different. For example, literature. Okay, let's have a quick look at the organization of an abstract. So if you really want your, let's say, published research article to receive some sort of attention, you also need to actually write a very good abstract, because the abstract of an article holds significant importance for several reasons. It provides a concise summary and of the entire article, making the research easily accessible accessible to broader audience, of course. Readers can quickly grasp the key points, and they can find some results, of course, about your research. And many articles in the social sciences are written with the IMRAT format, which is very well known in the field, but if you're not familiar with it, let me quickly talk about it. Because the abstract of an article should be a reflection of the article itself, an effective abstract for an in-breadth article can be written with the following framework. The first one is the introduction, background, purpose, or significance of the study. The second one is the methods that you use or methodological considerations that you followed. And the third one is results, the presentation of what was found in your research. This is very much similar to the, let's say, order of a research article. I mean, the body of the article, and the discussion of findings and application recommendations, if there is any, of course. And my warning here would be, you may find yourself exhausted to write an abstract from scratch, and you may have this kind of fallacy. You go to your research article, you copy a sentence from your method section and you paste it into your abstract. Do not ever attempt to do this, because that's not very professional. So you write your article from scratch to draw some attention from other researchers, because that's the only part that you can encourage someone to read the other parts of your text, your article, because abstracts are frequently used for cataloging your article in databases. For example, somebody can find your article just because of the word choice that you have in your abstract. Let's say one of the results you have, and sometimes the article makes it more likely to be discovered by other researchers and academicians. So here is a very well crafted abstract, very short and effective. Let's quickly look at that article published in 2018 in the Journal of English for Academic Purposes, which is very much similar to the articles you may read in your, let's say, EAP classes. So here, I don't have enough time for you to go over the article, but let me quickly show the analysis that I had. So this text actually is produced with the help of 6 sentences, and the first sentence is just an introduction. I mean, the aim of the study. The study examines, or what does the study do here. The second sentence is talking about the methodological consideration of the article, but later the writers, Liu and Buckingham, provided 3 sentences just to talk about their particular findings or sort of results. And the last sentence, number 6, is actually the implication of this research for a broader community. And as you can see, although this is also in-breadth, you can have implication at the end, which tells that the academic people who are following this article, so what question can appear anytime. So that's the answer to your readers. So the implication is very important. You may find it very useful to mention the implication in your abstract. So you may follow the same way if you're writing your thesis, of course. Okay, everybody, I'm going to talk about journal selection process here. I know there are many ways of doing this, but before starting or immediately after completing the writing of your article, it is essential to conduct a detailed study on which a journal to submit your article to. And there are several ways. You can target the journals from which you use the most references. So for example, if you're using articles from Journal of English for Academic Purposes, why don't you actually submit your article to the journal that you are citing the most? So that's number 1. Number 2, you can identify the top journals in your field and review the scope options of those journals. And you can actually find some major journal indexes here, like Web of Science and Scopus, British Education Index. This is actually for educational research, of course. Australian Education Index, or we have ERIC, and we have Ulakbim TR. You can find some major journals in those databases, and you can target those journals as well. So that might be a good idea. But here's another one, although some people may not like it, using a journal finder. It sometimes works. So here I'm going to share the exact steps that I did for one of my publications. Let's have an example right now. You're going to have the same. I mean, you're going to be doing the same steps in the next 2 minutes or so. So here is the activity. I just go to Journal Finder, elsevier.com. So you're not doing this right now, but you will be using another journal finder in the following slide. And I copied and pasted the title and the abstract into that website. And I said that that's the title and the abstract. And I just wanted to refine my results for a better suggestion. I just limited the number of journals to social sciences, and I refined my search to score 05. And I just wanted to see the journals which actually decide the quality. I mean, this could be related to editorial processes, of course, which can happen in 8 weeks. And I just reviewed the list, and I found the first journal, and the journal was Lingua. And you can see some, let's say, criteria here, the site score, first decision time. So that was the first journal, and it had impact factor of 1.1, which is okay for social sciences, but it had very low acceptance rate. So for 100 papers sent to that journal, only 11 of them are published. And the first decision can appear in 2 weeks, and the time to publication would happen in less than 4 months. And I took this challenge, and then I actually published here with one of my PhD students, Elif Barbaros. I actually used the abstract and the title of our research article, and I sent it to Lingua directly, and we sent it in April, and it was published in September. So it was very, very much similar to what Journal Finder suggested to me. But although it happened very quickly, we had like 3 rounds of peer review, and each round I'm going to share some of those details in the following slides, of course, related to that publication. Now it's your turn. Everybody, please spare some time here. My friends, Berkcan Hocam, you will be helping me here, right? So please share the link here. Journal Finder from Wiley. This is another journal finder. I want you to copy and paste the title and the abstract. And I just want you to find the most relevant journal. So this is not the text that I want you to have a look at. So can you please wait for
the next one, right? Sorry.
Sorry, what? This one, Journal Finder Wiley. Yep. The second one, understanding the role of personality. Can you find that one, please? Or not? If you can't find, I can share it.
No, I have it.
Okay. So the link is here. Can you please click on this link? Okay. And the title and the abstract is also here. Can you please send it to the chat box, Berkcan Hocam? Okay. The title and the abstract is also here. Understanding the role of personality in explaining L2 learners' DMC disposition. Can you please go back? Okay, so we had to send like 2 different messages because Okay, what is happening, Berkcan hocam?
It doesn't allow us to use
Okay,
all of it. So that's why, hocam. Sorry.
okay. So we sent two messages here. Can you please copy and paste both of them? And the first one, who will find the, who will tell me the journal will receive a gift from me. So what is the journal that you can? Okay, Dohan said modern language journal. Okay. Anything else? I'm looking for the ones with the green, let's say dots. Foreign language annals. Yeah. Okay. The first one is Esra Chill. Yeah. Sorry. Yildiray also said modern language journal. Okay. TESOL quarterly. So those are the ones actually which could actually be home to your research article. So now, so I don't know whether this was your first time using a journal finder, but can you please come back to my slides? Okay, so this is what you did. You just copied and pasted the article title and abstract here. And the first one most probably appeared in your research. This is what I found yesterday as well. So foreign language annals, and the relevance is 3 out of 3. And you know what? This is actually the one published by that journal and published by one of our prominent researchers in Turkey, Mehmet Sak from TED University. He's a PhD student and he published that article in a very well-known journal, that one. So if you're interested in, I don't know whether Mehmet Hocam used that journal finder, but if you were the writer of that text, the journal finder might guide you to that journal as well. So that's a good point, rather than going through your references to find the most, let's say, well-respected journal in the field. So foreign language annals would be the home, and it is actually the home. Okay, and just a second. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how you can also find some other, let's say, journals by searching over Web of Science. My friends will also helping me to share the link with you. By the way, you will be able to see all those links in the PDF that we will be sharing at the end of this talk. So you can go and select, for example, education and educational research or education scientific disciplines here. And you can find 206 journals in the link that I shared with you. Journal of Pragmatics is the first one, in which Çiler Hocam published one of her research articles, and this is a very well-known journal in our field. Or Journal of Computer-Assisted Language Learning, which is also a very well-known, let's say, journals in our field. So this can give you a list of journals that many people would respect, because we need your article to appear in a very well-known journal, not just in a random, let's say, a journal which publishes articles quite infrequently, and the review process is very terrible. Okay, so this is one of the examples here that you can find in the Web of Science search. If you're working with second language learning and teaching, this journal is a very good one to go for, SSLLT. And it is one of the Q1 journals in our field. And you can find details when you go to their website. And this is a journal search over Scopus. This is also giving you a list of journals which you can actually trust. And you can see it gives you a list of journals here, depending on their, let's say, impact factors. But when you go to a particular journal in their in those searches, computer-assisted language learning would have H index 54, and that's a lot. And if you would like to visit their website, you go to home page here. You just click that link, and then you go to computer-assisted language learning. I mean the real one, because sometimes people may come with hijacked websites, which is very similar to computer-assisted language learning. You submit your research article, and they just stole your intellectual property. And this is the real website, which you can access through Scopus. This is also a Q1 journal in the field, if you're interested in computer-assisted language learning. Now, let's say you found your journal to publish your work, and what you have to do is to go for the author guidelines. And the reason why I just bring Lingua here is because I did exactly the same thing here. I just looked at the guide for authors, and I found out that it says your paper, your way. Because sometimes when you get rejected and you find another journal, you have to change the format of your article, which is very time consuming for many people. But Lingua is, asking you to send your manuscript in a format that you feel comfortable with. I mean, you can just open an A4 document and write your article, send it like that. And you're supposed to provide all necessary documents. And a warning here, if you are citing one of your previous research articles, which will happen in, let's say, 10 years time, okay, what I suggest, if you're submitting your article in a Word document, you have to make it anonymous. I mean, you go back and change ilgili kişiler yazar son değiştiren, the one who changed it, to something which is not identifiable. Because once, as a reviewer, I received a Word document, and I just wanted to check whether it was anonymous enough. And when I just saw the name of the researcher here, I just said, oh my God, I can't do this, because I personally know that person. So I just returned the invitation of the editor. And writing a compelling cover letter for your article. Everybody, here I'm going to take this moment to show you, to talk about what a cover letter is. And I believe that it is very professional to write a cover letter. Okay, so I'm going to share another screen with you. Bear with me for a second. Okay. Can you tell me whether you can see a PDF file here?
Yes, hocam, we can.
Okay, great. So this is again the Lingua publication I had with Elif Barbaros hocam, and I was the corresponding author. I mean, I was uploading all the text files, and I was responding to the reviewers. I mean, we respond to the reviewers. I will share the responding review, the letter, but I was the one sending it to the editor. So what I follow here is not something new, but I'm going to share you some critical parts of it. So you just write your name and your contact details here, and the date you send it to the editor. I encourage you to write the name of the editor here, because sometimes you start with an editor and then the editor changes. So it's better to look for an updated, name of the editor here. And I also suggest you to use the journal name in the salutation part. So as you can see, the first paragraph is reserved for, we are pleased to submit our article titled as, and then by me and my supervisee here for your consideration to appear in Lingua if accepted. Later, we provided one paragraph, but everybody, this is not an abstract at all, because your editor can see your abstract. That one should be like the key points, your contribution to the field. So don't copy and paste your abstract here. So you just write your, let's say, aim of your research, and then talk about their particular research findings, which actually bring you to that journal. Okay, and then you can talk about the style, and let's say you can talk about the type of referencing system here, and if you followed, if you actually ask a proofreader to professionally proofread your text, you can write it here. And what I generally find very interesting to include in the cover letter is that although we have no conflicts of interest to disclose with other reviewers, we would like to highlight that if requested by the editors, we could suggest a few potential well-known scholars. So here, I'm not suggesting only one person. Once I provided them a list of researchers, like 20 people in the list. I have no idea whether they sent my article to those 20-something people. And the reason why I actually wrote it here is that once my paper was rejected by the editor because the editor couldn't find any reviewer. So that's a very interesting experience for me. And then you write down your contact details. Okay, now let me go back to the slides that I have here. Let me see if I can see you, if I can show you the slide. Can you see that slides here? Most probably yes. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Great. Now, when your submission is done and you pass the editorial process, yay, it's time for peer review. And if you remember that figure that I showed you, so you are now in the 4th stage peer review. But I personally suggest you check the progress of your reviewing process through any platform you were given. So here is one. If you submit your articles to journals in the platform of Elsevier, you will see that that particular research article that I co-authored, the editor invited 2 reviewers, +2 reviewers, and +2 reviewers accepted the invitation, but only 2 of them completed. That means 3 or 4 people commented on our article, but there is only 1 missing review, and it's gonna be completed in the following days, most probably. So this is how I can track the development or the progress of my research article. Okay, in the light of editor's review of the referee's evaluations, it's necessary to take new steps based on the decisions. So you can get a straight accept. That's very rare, but possible. And you can have minor or major revisions. You can respond to the referees promptly, but don't forget, they are the gatekeepers. So if you just respond to them, oh no, I know everything, then they may say, no, that's not how it should be. And you can get a decline. No need to be upset here. We should find a new home for our article. So here, I personally want to share one of my own examples. In 2018, I started the research article with 2 of my co-authors. And in 2019, we submitted it to the first journal we found, sorry. And it was rejected based on only 1 reviewer's evaluation. And they said, we couldn't even find a second reviewer for this article. That was very unprofessional, but it was one of the key journals in the field. And we had lots of desk rejects. That means the editor rejected it. And it says, we have received a number of articles in the same field. Look at that one. In 2021, the same article, by the way, received that email from the editor. It says, the second paragraph here, in the field of your paper, there are a large number of submissions competing for publication. I regret to have to tell you that for reasons of thematic balance, the editors have decided not to send your manuscript out for review. So it was a desk reject for us. But we were happy because we thought that that's another chance for us to find another journal. And after some time, we found that our paper was sitting in the editorial process for 3 months. And I sent an email saying that, hello, do we have any progress with the article? And the next day it was rejected right after the email. And there was another decline because I couldn't find enough reviewers for your MS manuscript, said the editors. And it was rejected 7 times. And it was accepted at last in September 2022. That's 5 years, sorry, not 4 years after it was designed. Yet it hasn't published as of today. I mean, literally today. It will be out in 2024, hopefully. Now, can you please go back and see the dates, 2018, 2024, 6 years. One can finish a PhD in 6 years, and we are still waiting for that paper to appear in the world of academia. But this is how it is, actually. Sometimes it takes 5 months, sometimes it takes 6 years. Okay, so when you actually respond to your reviewers, you have to take referee comments as seriously as possible. Sometimes I personally ask you to get rid of those bizarre or harsh comments. Everybody, that is the one I received from one of my reviewers. The reviewer said, the rationale of the study is anemic. The method adopted is problematic. And the findings corresponding a smack of being absurd. And the language needs great improvement, although it was proofread professionally, as I mentioned before. So I said the reviewer wanted to reject it for one reason, but I can't see that reason here just because of the design or language or a combination. Anyway, and here is an example from Highland and Jiang 2020. Sometimes the reviewers are so terrible. They may say, I felt like I was reading a horror movie. That's very discouraging for you in the journey of publishing articles. And there was another one from Silbiger and Stabler. The first author is a woman. She should be in the kitchen, not writing papers. So that's very discouraging for researchers trying to publish their work in those prestigious journals. So when I compare my own, response to my reviewer comment with others, so I would feel lucky. So you can focus on the critics that contribute to the improvement of your article. And you are supposed to respond to critics politely, in detail, clear, step by step. Not all critics need to be addressed, but they should be acknowledged. I'm going to show you one example here, again, from my personal experience. And let me just ask you whether you can see the PDF file here. By the way, I can share you the reviewer response letter, but the rest of the, let's say, how many pages here? 8 pages. The rest is very irrelevant for you, but the first page would be very relevant. Okay, can you please confirm you see the PDF here? Anybody?
Yes, Hocam.
Great. Elif Hocam, you should remember that one, right? We sent it in April and it was August when we were actually talking about the first, second or first review round. And we again used, their editor sort of start, and then we wrote that we were asked to resubmit for review. And we actually spent some time to address all of the comments by reviewers. And we actually wrote the major changes we went through here from 1 to 6. For example, we reformulated, revised our research questions. We recalculated all quantitative results. We ran statistical tests again and others. And we mentioned that in almost all cases, we agree with the substance of suggestions, because reviewers were also human beings, and they were trying to help us to improve our text quality, research quality. And we wholeheartedly believe that the new version was a better version of the previous version. And we thank them. Okay, and the rest is like, that is the format that I generally use. Okay, so I create a table. On the left, you can find the minor or major, let's say, let me just zoom in a bit. So I would like to know a bit more about the types of writing in the corpus and how and if they vary across years. And that was the question asked, actually review comment, and then we respond to this one, and we accept that we inserted some relevant discussion on page between lines 4 to 17, so that people would be, I mean, the reviewers would be satisfied. Can I just take you to comment 8 by second reviewer? As you see, we also write, our responses to every single one of those comments. Let me just take you to comment 8. It's a bit slow. Okay, here it is. You know what? We were actually analyzing 5 different groups, and one of the reviewers said, hey, Erdem and Elif, although he didn't know us actually, year 4 is underrepresented in your data set, and in other studies they were excluded. Why do you include them? And then we realized that the reviewer was correct, and we wanted to thank reviewer 2 here, and we said, we came to terms that the numbers here are so small that it is hard to have confidence in them as representative of a broader population and not reliable to give us much understanding of the developmental trajectory of contrast markers. And we follow your guidance, we remove them. So we agreed with the content of the criticism here. So the reviewer was happy. We were also happy because we did not think about that before the reviewer mentioned that. Okay, so I'm going back to my slides again. Sorry, it takes some time moving between slides. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to wrap it up in very quickly. So that was the format that I followed. On the left, you find the comments by the reviewers, and on the right, you find the responses of me or my co-authors. So that's a very nice one when you send it to the reviewers. So they are also very pleased to see that, how you challenge their ideas, because they can compare. By the way, if you include 2 or 3 reviewers comments and responses in the same letter, other reviewers can also see what happened with the other reviewers. Okay, so here's an example from a reviewing process, and I got the permission from the author. So that is the draft. I mean, it's the manuscript abstract, but the abstract seems to be very, let's say, short. And this is what the reviewer wrote. Can you please take some time to read what the reviewer mentioned related to the abstract? The reviewer said, the current abstract is only 143 words, and most probably the reviewer went to the journal's page and then checked the total number of abstracts can be used in a total number of words to be used in an abstract. And the reviewer said the abstract can go up to 250 by bringing other issues into discussion, because that abstract doesn't follow IMBRAT format, most probably, and this is the published version. Can you see how helpful the reviewer comment to the author? The author included some other aspects of the research, and the reviewer was happy. The most probably the author was happy as well. So this is something good for win-win. And keywords, everybody, I'm wrapping up. And right now, I'm going to be sharing some tools with you that you can use in your writing process. Keywords. Hocam, keywords would be the only concern we would have in writing articles, but they're very important if you would like to get your article, found by other people. Okay, you have written your article, crafted your abstract, and it's time for a crucial step, creating the keywords. And you're supposed to write 4 to 5 keywords. Why? Because everybody conducts searches using keywords on Google or on Web of Science. So they can write like teaching techniques, issues in foreign language education. So if you include them in your keywords, then they will be able to find your text, not mine. So how can you decide on your keywords? Can I hear some of your personal stories? I mean, if you published before, can you please tell me how you write your keywords by opening your mic or writing to the chat box here? So some people would go and choose some words from the title. I don't know whether this is good or not. Or some people would say, I just write the methodology that I use, like corpus linguistics, considering the critical aspects of the study, nominalization, great ones. And yeah, if you're writing something about, for example, a research paper about conversation analysis, is it a good idea to write conversation analysis? I don't know. So here is a trick for you, which I also used in my studies. Is it about capturing the crucial points in the title only? No. Let's have an example. Everybody, can you please look at that abstract? I know this is in Turkish. I didn't have enough time to copy the same one in English. And what could be the potential keywords? It's not even in English language teaching field. So I just wanted to try something else, of course. Gökçe says approaches, techniques, pedagogical approaches. Yeah. Okay. So you may not read the whole text here, but this is what I did. I don't know whether you are familiar with word clouds. So you can, by the way, my friends will be helping me to share the word cloud that I use. It is your article, not you, which can determine the keywords. Thank you very much, Bekcan Hocam. For this, you can visit any word cloud website, but this one is the one that I used. Paste your entire article, excluding references as a text, and then the words you frequently mention in your article, excluding function words like and, in, but, will be presented before you. And I just created exactly the same thing for you for the article that I showed before. Okay, so that's the word cloud. Can you please tell me which words the author used a lot in the text? Düşünme, tarih, tarihsel, performans, zaman, öğrenci. I wouldn't include öğrenci in my, let's say, keywords, right? Chronologic. Okay. Yeah, Mustafa Özer, thank you. Unconc will be also helpful. But, this is actually, I suggest you use this one because it gives you the visual, right? Unconc wouldn't give you that one. But if you use Lensbox, that's different. Okay, everybody. These are the keywords used by the authors. Tarih, öğretim programı, beceri, tarihsel zaman, kronolojik düşünme. And you know what? I found 3 of them out of 5. And the ones that I missed are tarih and beceri. Tarih and beceri, they are so broad. I wouldn't include them as keywords here. But I found tarihsel zaman from the keywords. I'm in the figure here. Kronolojik düşünme. Oh yeah, Mustafa Özer, thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't use the most recent one. Thank you very much. So for reminding me of this. Thank you. Okay, so this is one way of doing this. Another way of doing this, of course. Everybody, if you publish an article in Q1, Q2, or quartile 3, 4, yeah, journals, it is high time to get some incentives. If you go to Cahit Arf Bilgi Merkezi, UBYT, you actually find that you are paid for the articles that you publish. For example, if you remember the article published in Foreign Language Annals in 2023, if you published an article in that journal, you get paid 14,000 Turkish liras because it's very, let's say, prestigious. You publish in a very well-known journal. So you may use this one if you would like to, let's say, get an incentive. Okay, but if you have like 3 people in your paper, the money is divided into 3. Okay, I'm going with the Manchester Phrase Bank. If you have never used it, please follow the link to be shared by Berkcan Hocam. This is a great resource, actually, if this is your first time dealing with academic language. So, for example, if you go to, let's say, I'm sorry, I don't know whether you can see that, but okay. Anyway, you can find some examples of being cautious when explaining results. I'm sorry. Yeah, like it seems possible that these results are due to. So these are fixed phrases which you can use in your article, and they're very useful and they're fixed. So when you use them, you're not plagiarizing, you're just using another fixed phrase, like it's possible that, or you're presented different language functions here in the website, on the website. And here is something which I personally find quite useful. You're supposed to polish your reference list and in-text citation. To start a project is as crucial as finishing it. The smoothness of a study is not solely dependent on the research design, the words you use, grammar, and the template expressions. It is also highly relevant to whether the references in your text are formatted appropriately for the journal. For this reason, I'm going to share 2 tools that I use. The first one is ReciteWorks, and I don't know whether you have used. Can I see the number of people who used ReciteWorks? You can send me plus from the chat box. And if not, yeah, okay. It's great. Some people used it. This is how it works, everyone. You just log in and you just paste, or let's say upload your text. By the way, the website guarantees that your text is not copied to be used by other, Mehlika, sorry. You see what this tool is doing, and then most probably you will be using this one as well. So when I just upload the text that I will be sending to, submitting, it says, Erdem, in your text, you have like 31 different, let's say, problems in terms of in-text citations. So go back and change them. Or look at this one. Sometimes you write something and then you forget deleting the reference. It says Abbott G, 1980. That's not even in your text. Why do you include this in your reference list? So if you would like to, Gökçe Hocam, thank you very much for being here. If you would like to know more about that, let's say, tool, my friends will be sharing a tutorial that I had on YouTube. Tezinizin kaynakçasını ve metinci referanslarınızı APA7'ye göre kontrol etmek için. You can follow this one. It's a very useful tool, and I personally use it, and I encourage you to use it. And the second one is search crossref.org. You're supposed to actually write down the DOI numbers of each article that you refer to. And sometimes you forget the DOI numbers. This is how it works. You go to your reference list, you copy your reference list, you write your reference list here. I mean, you paste it, and then you say crossref, find all the DOI numbers. And it finds all the DOI numbers that you can use. And it's a very useful tool as well. You can find another tutorial that I created on YouTube. So where to start? If you haven't published a single article as of yet, why don't you start with a book review? You find a book that is published quite new in your field, find some journals which might be interested in publishing a book review of this book, and you contact the book review editors. you review the book for them and get published. So this could be the first one that you can have. So again, I have a personal experience and story to tell. So this was the book Erdem shared on Twitter, and I said, "Dear Ute, hope you're fine. I've just seen this, and I wanted to write a review on this edited book if possible. Could you let me know if I can have the copy, or can I just contact some potential journals?" And this is what happens. I contacted one of the journals and said, "This is Erdem. I'm doing research about this, and this is what the reviewer sent back." This is the journal system. Says, "Thank you for your interest in writing a book review for system. The book you are proposing to review is certainly interesting. I can also see that your CV, that you are very well qualified and have published and presented widely in your area expertise. So I'm happy to offer that." And this is what happened. I published that one on system in System Journal. So, and I also have the book with me right now. Rather than paying for the book, I also get the copy of the book. So everybody, the ones who stayed until this time, I have an offer. So some people may find it quite encouraging. Here is the offer. If you are an early career researcher, including MAs or PhDs in the field of education, language education, and applied linguistics, and if you have not published a single paper as of yet, let's have one book review together. I mean, together with me. So I hope to walk through with you, but first, let's find a book to review in our field. I mean, language education. So if you're interested in, you can drop me an email to discuss the details after the session. So I'm happy to help you how you can write a book review, and it's gonna be like 2 or 3 pages only, and this is gonna be one of your publications, and this is how you can start. And if you're interested in joining spoken and written academic discourse analysis research group, that is the QR code for joining us. I mean, the Google form you will receive. And thank you very much for staying until that moment. And the QR code is actually a Google form, which I forgot, sending to you back, Hocam. But anyway, so some people thought that that's what I'm working on, or animated arrows, or you just focused on the typos on my slides. Some of you might have some random happy thoughts, and some people might say, I'm up next. I don't know whether you're in this session, but I hope none of you felt that you're in the wrong session. If you are, unfortunately, I just wasted like 1.5 hours of your life. Okay, thank you very much. And if you want to contact me about anything, you can drop me an email to erdem@akbas.ercs.tr, and my Twitter and Instagram. And that's it. Is that okay? You wholeheartedly, thank you very much.
Thank you, Hocam.
Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, while I was, presenting, I was able to see only one person, that's me. So I was not able to track your, let's say, body movements or gestures. So forgive me for that. I hope you like that. And it was my first time talking about this. And I wanted to do something very much personal. Thank you very much. Berkcan Hocam.
Hocam, thank you so much. Doğan Hocam, please.
Thank you, Hocam. We loved it. It was an amazing talk. It was really informative and effective. We truly appreciate you sharing your knowledge and expertise. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
with
you
us.
very much.
Thank you so much, Hocam.
I also would like to address any question that you have in your mind, which I did not mention. By the way, today I did not rediscover America. I just shared my personal experience with Ahmet Başal Hocam. You're also here. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, do we have any question? I just missed the chat box. Doğan Hocam.
Not yet. Everyone, please, it's an opportunity for all of you to engage directly with Erdem Hocam.
Oh, by the way, let me also share something very personal. So when I publish a paper, I just turn this into a cup and I serve tea to people who visit me. So that's an article that I published with Betül Balgezegin. So I'm drinking it right now. And I also had something with my PhD student, Elif Barbaros. And you also have your cup, right? Okay. Do we have any question? Do you accept bachelor students for SODA? Burak, of course. We are open to any kind of suggestion. You would be helping us a lot. So maybe you will be a researcher in the future with us. Why not? Why don't you join us? Hocam, I don't know whether I will be able to share the QR code again, but so there is this Google form here. Let me find if I can find it here. SODA. Yeah, okay. The Google form is here. Let me just share it so that people can. Okay. Berkcan Hocam, can you also include this one in the PDF file that we will be sharing, if possible?
Of course, hocam.
Okay. This is the the Google form, if you're interested in. So, you know what? I was not able to read the chat box. It was so fast. How are you doing research about English literature? Can you recommend any English literature journal for us to be more informed about academic research on literature? Actually, I have a publication coming, most probably in one of those prestigious journals in literature, because we also had a corpus study about literary text, and it is language and literature published by Wiley. So if you go to Web of Science, most probably when you take those, literature journals, you will be presented some of those, journals. Yeah, do we have any questions, or do I still dominate the talk? Okay, we have Mehlika. Do I pronounce
Hello,
it
Hocam.
correctly?
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay. Thank you for this fruitful session, firstly. And I wanted to say that I work on my thesis. I regularly write, but I feel that it's never good enough, and I cannot seem to get enough proper feedback.
Mhm.
And I have an idea about it. I'm not sure if it's worth anything, but can I mail you about it if you are
Why not?
interested?
Okay, so this is what we do in SWOTA as well. We actually
Oh, okay.
exchange, papers, some paragraphs, and if you find it useful, we give you some feedback. So that's
Yeah,
also
okay.
possible. Are you doing your thesis, PhD or MA?
No, MA.
MA, where in
At Sakarya University.
Sakarya? Okay,
Yeah.
so sometimes you would feel quite not confident about your writing, but you will be better in 10 years' time.
Hopefully.
So what I can also suggest, you benefit from some tools like Grammarly or ChatGPT to get proper feedback. And by the way, if you're gonna use ChatGPT for any reason in your academic, article writing, so make sure that you mention this when you send it to a journal, because if they find it out later on, that's a big problem. Okay, Mehlika,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you so
Send
much.
me. Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah,
Do we
okay.
have another question? Berkcan Hocam, do you have something?
Hocam,
Okay, Fatma Hocam.
Yes, hocam, please.
Hi, Erdem Hocam. Thank you for this great, insightful, and informative. So I personally just benefited a lot about this. So
Thank you.
you talk about the anonymity while sending the article, the manuscript to the reviewers. While converting our thesis or dissertation, it's easy to paraphrase the text. But how about the visuals we produce ourselves? I mean, not just the charts, I say, the images, the figures we created in our dissertations. Is it
Okay.
okay to just copy and paste the images? Because it's not going to be easy to reformulate the figures we created in
There's no way, actually.
Mhm.
But my suggestion here if you're gonna be turning your PhD or MA into a journal article, you also mentioned that this article is based on your, let's say, PhD or MA, and the data or the figures are coming from that, MA or PhD. There is no way for, yes, they can find it, but I mean, the reviewers may not actually go and hound those, figures in your. They don't really want to know who you are actually. But if you just say that that is coming from an MA or PhD, that would be fine. So don't mention the title of your MA or PhD. So just make it anonymous enough so that they couldn't find it. If they find it, they may have some personal issues with you, so they just reject, or they may have some biases, especially if you're, let's say, from Turkey. That may be a bias for some people. So make sure that you don't reveal your identity unless it gets published.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that would be a good idea, Hocam.
So it's okay to just copy and paste the
Yeah,
images, no
copy, but
worries.
under the
Yes.
figure, you just say it comes from a PhD of the first author. This is what we do.
Okay. Thank you, Hocam. Thank you
You're
very
welcome,
much.
Hocam. Do we have another question?
Hocam, I guess we have one comment and one question. The comment is by Nur Civan Biçer Hocam. Hocam said, I would like to mention a brilliant word I saw in your slide, Erdem's. And she said she loved it.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Thank you.
yeah. And the question is from Bey Sultan Hoysanov. He asked, I was wondering if your presentation will be sent to us by any chance.
I haven't actually thought about it, but I would be able to share some slides with you, not all of them, because some of them are very confidential, although this was recorded, of course. But I'm sure I will be sharing all those links and activities through the website of METU ELT Talks, if possible, and some of other, let's say, YouTube videos that I also prepared.
We have
Okay,
a
Ahmed Hocam is also talking about a reminder here, which I, did not mention, smart tables. So that's a good one, Ahmed Hocam. Thank you very much for being here and helping me. By the way, I don't know whether you can see that. That little thing here, but it means a lot. And this is from Ahmed Hocam, Ahmed Bashar Hocam. He is a great supporter for me.
Well, if you don't have anything else to say, or if you don't have any question, I think we can end the talk.
Wrap it up. Okay.
So
before we leave, can I just say something?
Of course,
there were a number of topics that I can cover in this METU ELT talks, but I said, Berkcan Hocam, I'll do something that I have never done before. So I just wanted to give you my personal understanding of publication journey. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach me for another, session or another time. So thank you very much for being here. And I hope the next article that you write will be published by a very well-known journal in the field. Thank you.
Before we leave, can I ask for a favor from all of you? It will be really obliged if you open the camera so we can take a screenshot.
For family photo.
Yes,
I don't know whether how many of you would be joining us. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I have some of my previous students as well. Okay.
Hello, Erdem.
Hello, Halid.
So if you're all ready, I'm just taking our screenshot in 5, 4.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
I just wonder whether you had some screenshots while I was talking.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
Please share the ones which you would be sharing yours. I mean.
Yes, Hocam. We'll all be posting those on Instagram, on our website, and also the recorded session will be posted on YouTube. The link will be shared on Instagram too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you hocam.
Okay, everyone. It was nice to be with you today, tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all for joining us.
Okay.
Good night. Have a good night.
What is your Instagram account? Oh, I thought because they was asking mine.
So have a good night everyone.
Good night. Bye.